Spring has sprung for soon-to-be homeowners, but is it the right time to buy? Joining us now is Tim Rood, Collingwood Group CEO, former Fannie Mae executive. Tim, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Maria.
Well,
nice
it
to
is
see you.
also a little funny that I'm saying spring has sprung, and behind me we're having a massive storm. And snow and wind and rain in New York City. There's a live picture of our cameras outside. But I guess, Tim, a lot of people are saying this season is going to be one of the more interesting ones on record in terms of home sales, even if it does start later than we thought because of the weather.
For sure. Yeah, I was looking at the pending home sales data this weekend, and I thought it was an April Fool's joke. Like, good Lord. So I mean, we're actually down from a volume perspective than we were at the end of last year, or at this time last year. And there's really three things that I'm looking at in terms of what's going to dictate the spring buying season, what's going to catapult it into the rest of the year. And real estate is a momentum play. But first, you got to look at, there's kind of a catch-22 going on in the marketplace. There's demand is scorching hot. I mean, people have got jobs. They're confident about their prospects. They think rates are going up. They think values are going up. So they're really desperate to take advantage of the opportunity for home ownership. The challenge is you can't buy what's not for sale. And the sellers aren't putting properties on the market because, quite frankly, there's nothing to buy. And it creates this catch-22 where you're at this stalemate, and builders haven't figured out how to make the economic case for building particularly entry-level homes. Then there's the issue of, you've got the whole new tax law. I mean, I look at this kind of like, how quickly and whether or not the industry can actually detox from an addiction that they've had for 100 years, which was the mortgage interest deduction. You know, they've come up with some new policy that looks a lot like methadone to kind of ease the pain from the mortgage interest deduction going away and still entice home ownership. And the third one is really the wild card. You call it the Y factor. I mean, what's going to happen with millennials? You have this largest generation in history. They've got the most education in history. They've also got the most debt, just in terms of student loan debt. And they're underemployed or unemployed. I don't know what's going to happen with them as they try to crack into the home market.
Do you think real estate prices come down this year?
I don't see them coming down. I see the pace of appreciation slowing, which is necessary, particularly when you couple it with rising interest rates.
How about mortgage rates?
I'm more optimistic. I don't see them going through the roof. I mean, right now they're about 4.5%, probably 0.75% higher than they were in September. I'm not as rosy and optimistic about the economy that would require any more than 2 or 3 for rate increases this year.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, you're still talking about rock bottom rates taken. I mean,
4-year high, though. 30-year fixed rate mortgage is roughly at a 4-year high. And when home prices are so expensive, Tim is essentially describing a scenario in the home market where you reach paralysis, where people who own homes have no incentive to sell them, and then the people who want to buy can't find homes for sale that are reasonably priced, so they just step back. Something has to give. I don't know how long it takes.
Well, one of the challenges, too, as you're seeing, is that while the starter home market has been particularly decimated, one, because the investors, big institutional investors, really created a floor for the housing market in 2012. They bought up millions, 8 million of these starter home properties, and they've even got covenants in their contracts with investors that they can't sell these things and won't sell them for 10 years.
I see.
So you sopped up all of that inventory. And I saw a great article this weekend that described kind of the starter home market for millennials. They said it in 4 words. It's expensive. The properties are beat up. They're small. And they're scarce. That's not real optimistic.
No, it doesn't sound it. Tim, thanks so much for your insights.
Yeah,
Tim Rood joining us.